Great to be up here. It's really interesting. I love this, that we're actually talking about this. Because before kind of ordinals, Bitcoin season 2, this was not discussed in Bitcoin, right? This was like so taboo, right? And yet here we are, right? It's a new world. Why don't we just go real quick down the line and you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, excited to be here. My name is Jan from Xverse. I hope every single person in the room already has Xverse. If not, please go download it as soon as possible. It's your gateway to everything Bitcoin. And yeah, just excited to talk to you guys.
I'm Bob Bodily, CEO and founder of Odin Fund. Once you download Xverse, then you can go into their in-browser wallet, type odin.fun, hit enter. It'll bring up Odin directly on mobile. You can do it right now. Let me see you, everyone with their phones, let me see you do it right now. And then you can deposit Bitcoin directly, and after one confirmation, you'll have Bitcoin in the platform, and you can trade runes at the speed of light in Odin.
Be a real degenerate.
Yep. Degenerate Bitcoin energy is my message for the world.
I'm Sheldon from Omnity Network, and if you have Xverse and you start a token on Odin Fund, you're welcome to come trade it on RichSwap afterwards and earn some protocol revenue from the first open source Runes DEX. So that would be one of our products as part of our product suite, but we offer that through the Runes Exchange platform, which is an ICP hosted coprocessor for Bitcoin. So that's kind of our big focus these days, is trying to augment Bitcoin without getting too deep into the core fight. Obviously, we'll still, hang around, punch a little bit, but that's our main focus.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ray, the founder and CEO of Bodily. Bodily just launched a new product for BTC and Runes, which is called Taiki. The website is taiki.run. And once you installed Xverse and you played Odin Fund, and you go to RichSwap or RE, the infrastructure of Omnity, you will see our logo there, and you can come to Taiki and play Bitcoin and Runes probability mini games, which is fun, I think. Thank you.
We started a good meta, no?
Bro, this is
I love the lineup. It's great.
Abstraction all the way down, right? It's like we're just getting more and more abstract. But actually, Ray, to you, like I think one of the things that, like, you can abstract this all away, but it's like, why would the user want to come, right? And I think that's the thing that crypto often struggles with. I mean, we see it, 99% of stuff never really gets used. And so we create these kind of games, almost casino games, where you come play our casino game, you get this other token, right? Which is kind of, it's a somewhat played out meta, right? But what is it for you when you're crafting something like this? What are you trying to think about to get those end users to come and use your product? What are you thinking about?
That's a really good question. The short answer would be because it is fun. Okay, and the reason we designed the product is because Bodily always wanted to find a way to solve this mass adoption issue for Bitcoin and even Web3 industry in general. And one way of doing that is to identify a fun aspect that people always like. We are in Vegas, right? Like, we all know what's fun in Vegas, and why don't we bring that online? Using Bitcoins and Runes, using on-chain probability, randomness, which is fair and transparent, to make this like offline fun games, on-chain, online, and that's the purpose.
Well, I think, Bob, you had some success, right? And congrats on that success earlier.
Yeah, thank you.
Where I think the main thing is you were able to grab attention, right? Can you give us your kind of thought process on, did you plan that? Was it really planned, or was it just something that kind of, because you had built up a community of people who believed in you and said, oh, well, let's go try out Bob's stuff. What do you think was the thing that kind of got you that attention and got you that traction?
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, basically a decade at this point, and I've built a whole suite of various apps targeting various users, and most of the time you build something and you think it's going to be awesome and nobody cares. Yeah. Like literally nobody, like zero. And that you get enough of those and then you start to realize, oh, I need to figure out what people want before I just have an idea and go build it. And so this has been like a really, really long journey for me where it kind of looks like Odin Fund was like this overnight success. But I would say it's the culmination of a decade of pivoting and learning and building and working. And even with our team right now, I mean, we've built multiple products over the last 4 years. And just back in November, decided that we weren't getting enough traction and we needed to change something. We needed to do something different. So we went back to the drawing board, had this big session where like, what are we going to do? What are we going to build? How are we going to build it? What are we going to focus on? How fast does it need to be? What are we going to use to make sure it's secure? And Odin Fund came out. And so built a ton of nights and weekends through November, December, ended up launching kind of an early access beta end of December and then public launch end of January. And so I would say, you know, it was partly fantastic timing. I mean, I don't know if you remember on Twitter, everyone was like screaming about how Bitcoin never needed runes and it's only good for ordinals and why are people doing runes?
They're still screaming that.
Yeah.
Let them scream.
And so it was a really low point and people were looking for, you know, a fast trading experience for these tokens. You know, the experience of Solana, but with Bitcoin tokens. Yeah. And so I think it was partly, you know, good user experience on our part. You know, you can just log in with an Xverse wallet or any other Bitcoin wallet directly.
Yeah, Xverse wallet.
Directly deposit Bitcoin into the platform and then trade. And it's, you know, blazingly fast, 2 seconds, you know, for all trades. And so that was one of the things that we weren't going to sacrifice was speed. And so I think part of finding product market fit is luck. It's timing. It's the right product at the right time with the right features, with the right security for the right, you know, users. And if you can like thread the needle there, then it's like perfect.
Yeah, it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know. We're all building up here. It's very, very, well, that's why we appreciate it when we see it.
Yes.
Right, when there actually is success. And Jan, I think you guys have been a huge success with Xverse. I think obviously the leading Bitcoin wallet, which we all remember kind of pre-ordinals, like what were we doing on Bitcoin with Bitcoin wallets? I mean, even when ordinals happened, using our, what was it, Sparrow wallet, yeah. God help us, right? But you guys have really grown into the leader in the space. Obviously, for me, it's I know you. Everybody here knows you. You're kind of the face of the company. You're out there leading. But is there anything else that you think was kind of key to you guys being the leader in that space?
I mean, it's similar to what Bob said, right? Like, you know, it definitely didn't happen overnight. You know, Ken started a company probably 4.5 years ago. I joined slightly later, but like pretty early on when I joined the company, we were still very, very small. There was not much stuff happening on Bitcoin. And we were always kind of pushing the vision that we're going to see Web3 on Bitcoin. But I remember when I was talking to people and investors maybe 3.5 years ago, everybody thought that I'm just crazy. Like, what do you guys even think that, you know, the Bitcoin maxis are not going to allow you to do anything
use a wallet that's not open source
and this and that. And so like everybody thought that we're crazy. And so it was very hard, to be honest, like at the very beginning to be building anything on Bitcoin was just very hard, you know, because there wasn't that many users. People just, you know, bought Bitcoin, held it. It was Lightning, right? There were some of the other things like, I don't know, RGB, but like, you know, you don't really see them that much right now. And so like we're tinkering. I remember before Ordinals, we're just like, okay, what else do we do here? Like, you know, we tried the L2 route with stacks, you know, early on. And then like, okay, what else? Where can we find the growth? And so we're looking at all of these things, even Lightning, and we're like, okay, but like, how do we differentiate ourselves, right? Compared to everybody else there. But then like, you know, Ordinals came to be. And we just decided to jump on it very quickly. And I think to answer your question, like how did we manage to capture that attention is that, you know, we're very nimble. Like we move very fast. Like when we see an opportunity, we try to make calculated risks that we look at it. Okay, does this have staying power? Is there anything else that we could be focusing on instead that could be bigger? If not, we just go all in. And we are able to bring those experiences and those features into the platform very quickly. I mean, you know, Ordinals for us, just because the team, you know, led by Ken, was always building on Bitcoin. You know, from one angle or another, like we have always been building on Bitcoin. And so, you know, they were able to grasp it very quickly. And literally over the weekend, you know, they built up the first version of support of Ordinals. And we have obviously came a long way since then. But the fact that you can move very quickly, you can pivot, you can like listen to the market, to the users. Okay, what do they want? And that need was very clear, man.
Totally.
I couldn't even figure out
There were
Sparrow
people.
Wallet.
There were people who were like, "Why would I ever need another wallet besides
Sure.
Sparrow Wallet? This
Sure.
is amazing."
And you know, I love Sparrow Wallet because like, you know, they're open source, they're serving specific audience, but at the same time, they're just not really listening to the market. Like,
By the way, if anybody's not used Sparrow Wallet, I encourage you to do it, so
Try
you
it.
appreciate
Yeah,
how
try
good,
it.
how terrible it is, and
It's
how
really
good,
hard.
how good Xverse is.
It's really hard to figure out for somebody who is there just for the JPEG or who is there for, like, you cannot even use Sparrow Wallet to connect and use an application built on Bitcoin, right? You can use it for many other things that are great for, you know, the people that just want to hold Bitcoin and, you know, your keys, you know, most important thing. UTXO management, whatever, they do a lot of those things very well. But if you look at the market that we're in, they're not participating, right? So like somebody had to build that.
Well, I wonder, and maybe Sheldon, this is for you, like how much of this, I mean, I think we've all benefited from ordinals happening, and you kind of, I say as an entrepreneur myself, it's like catching the right wave is sometimes way more important than actually, you know, building the right thing, right? It's like being on the right wave. But like, how do you look, now that we're all on the ordinals wave and runes and all the rest, how do you look at it as, from a perspective, am I cutting in and out a little bit? But just from that perspective, okay, we're on this wave now, but the users are already here. Like this is what we have. How do we reach out and get new users, either from other chains or, you know, just people in Web 2? To come in and be attracted to what we're doing?
I think there's two strategies that are really obvious up front, and one of them is give free shit. Yeah. And I've been going to conferences and trying to give everybody who's not a Bitcoiner who I meet an NFC chip and teach them that they can receive Bitcoin payments real easy. That's not an Omnity product that I'm offering. I'm really trying to get people who are at least 3 steps away from me socially to start seeing Bitcoin as an asset and as a tool that they can use. The other side of it is that sort of meshing the market, you know, being there at the right time, having the right product advantages and so on. At Omnity, we've not been terribly focused on ordinals. We've been really, really dedicated to runes for the past year. But I have a duty to tell you that that's like our pivot point, like right now, is that we're gonna be offering a platform that's in testnet right now so that you can fractionalize an ordinal on-chain and then go trade it as a rune. There's no reason why ordinals need to be broken up into some other form. You know, we already have the data. You don't want more sats than you have to. You know, Bitcoin is very committed to being efficient. If you're going to make a new sat schema and it's a Rube Goldberg machine, Xverse doesn't want another Rube Goldberg machine. There's enough of these, you know, like more complicated than they need to be things out there. So the ordinals, you know, audience and market has been really important to us. I come from a music composition background, and I'm much more focused on one-of-ones and stems management than I am, you know, thinking about the next 10,000 series, even though I appreciate that those social movements are strong. And I think we're finally in that place where a 10,000 PFP set is still full of ideologues and people who really give a shit and who are out there trying to find the next extension for these tools. And that means that they do want collectible one-of-one art, they do want utility in runes, but they also want more cohesion between these capabilities. So I always talk about 22.1, the update that Raf published end of the year last year that I wasn't expecting, because there's a feature in there to basically handle runes and ordinals in the same transaction so they can be related more later from an initial UTXO being created with the 2 different types of assets. We're taking that a step further at Omnity by trying to get more people to sort of entangle their runes and ordinals. But we think overall that market is not just strong, it's maturing. Like I'm getting artist questions from people who are not in Bitcoin. You know, hey, how do I do this? What's the way to do this? Who do I go with? I'm like, there's a fight for standards right now. Does that mean that market's not moving forward? No, it means that you got to get in the fight.
Well, that's kind of like if you know it on other chains, there's like the ERC 404, right?
Sure.
Which is like allows you to fractionalize an NFT. But we've seen, you know, in NFT's history, we've seen this idea kind of play out. People have tried the fractionalization thing, and it hasn't really worked, right?
Sure.
And so I think part of it is like this experimentation that takes place, and maybe you hit a winner, and if you hit a winner, you get rich, but you probably aren't going to hit a winner, right? But where do you think we are right now with ordinals and runes? Is it just it's good enough now, and we're going to be able to attract people now, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
We're definitely at a sticking point. I think
Yeah.
that the tooling that we wanted when we were, banging our chests and trying to like make the market grow more last year, it wasn't refined. It might have been present, but it wasn't nearly as UX friendly as, common or, adaptable. Like the offerings like what you can get on this stage combined with a handful of others that include lending and different operations, like that makes a much more cohesive ecosystem of stuff you can do. If I say, hey, you got to adopt a new wallet, here's the value, you should try it. If you have, less than 5 destinations there's no point. You need more than one killer app.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Bob, maybe you could comment on that. Do we need just people to start experimenting more now? Do you feel like the infrastructure and people using ICP or other kind of L2 solutions, and like, do you feel like the infrastructure is there now for a builder to build something that may break through to that next level? Do you feel like the infrastructure is there, or we need more kind of time for that infrastructure to be right? And to be right, I'll give it like a simple example. The easiest winner of this cycle has been Pump Fund, right? All these kind of pieces had to be built in place for it to work, right? The wallet had to be right. The liquidity pools had to be right. And the team itself had to hit and do it right. But do you feel like Bitcoin's in that position where something like that can happen, or it's going to take some more building for that to happen first?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for like mass scale normie adoption, I think Solana is really well positioned. Just in terms of the developers they have, in terms of the infrastructure they have, in terms of the speed of the blockchain, I think building consumer-friendly applications on Solana is really great right now. My consumer app hero, Nikita Beer, is actually advising a lot of these projects on Solana, working with the foundation, working with a lot of these projects on growth. And so I would say yes for Solana. For Bitcoin, I don't think so.
You don't think so, right? I mean, like, people don't really appreciate like how much has to be right for a product to hit. Like, a lot of people did, meme coin tokens. It was on, Binance, and I don't know if you all remember trading meme coins on Binance. It was terrible experience. I mean, it was terrible, right? But we did it. Like the previous cycle, we did it. But the pump guys, they really hit on like. They got the liquidity pool right. They got the amount needed to graduate right. They got the wallets were right, obviously. I don't know, Ray. What do you think about that? Do you think Bitcoin's still miles away from that? I mean, is this like a next cycle thing for Bitcoin, or is what do you think? What do you think?
In terms of like layer 1 solutions, I agree with Bob. Like
we're
Bitcoin.
a million miles away, right?
Yeah, we were not ready. But as for Taiki, it worked because I think we chose the best options out there. We use Bitcoin as the asset, ruins as an asset. All the assets are in Bitcoin layer 1s, okay? They are secure, they are safe. For the game logics, we use Internet Computer Protocol. All those canisters, they are decentralized. They have good performance. They can deal with all these user player activities. And for the deposit and withdrawal, we use Omnity's REE, Ruins Exchange Environment, which is, I guess, Sheldon will
Wait, what the
introduce
hell
that.
is that?
But,
That's just like a word salad of I don't know what.
I guess my point is, for the tech, if we only talk about tech, Bitcoin layer 1 is not ready. But we cannot wait, right? We need to move forward. We need to attract.
We start
more.
with compromises, though. I mean, I think that's what you're saying.
Trade-offs, right? That's the topic of this panel. So we do compromise in a certain way within a boundary, and we use the best we can to achieve our purpose, to attract as many as more users.
So I mean, do you think it's that basically, okay, what you have is you have the asset layer, which is Bitcoin, and then all these other layers get put on top to kind of trade and move those assets around, crypto and Web3. Is that what you're thinking, Sheldon?
I mean that's.
No, I shouldn't be jumping in, but I have to tell you that I think that makes sense to me because Bitcoin's been looking for a coprocessor for a long time, And we've had a lot of discussion on how that would or wouldn't be a part of core, how we need to, manage the politics of core. I don't want to get into all of that, especially if I don't and I have a business to run and build. I need a coprocessor today. Like, Bitcoin cannot stand on its own feet and provide rich data handling right now. Nobody wants to put a video on Bitcoin and use it as part of an application the way you would in like the cutscene from a video game. It's just not practical, right? But having a coprocessor that's resilient, that can integrate with other services, that makes a lot of sense. Having that be a closed validator network that's specialized is something we've tried multiple times, and it's difficult to do. Having it be an open validator network that can be verified more comfortably, is transparent pretty much end to end. That's what Bitcoiners have been demanding this whole time, is that we don't have a secondary validator set. But now that we're finally coming to this point, like we kind of have to, the standard is very high. You have to be able to audit it in real time for every operation.
Well, I think, Jan, we talked a bit beforehand about how you were kind of positioning Xverse to be that, which is like you get these apps or interfaces, and whether they're using Bitcoin assets or you're taking Bitcoin assets over to them, you guys want to just be the way where the people can just connect and use it and not have to necessarily worry about how the Bitcoin got there or how it moves. Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, in my view, it has to be like that, right? Because I've been in crypto for maybe 1.5 cycles, so I would say maybe not that long, but I've tried a lot of products. I've tried all the wallets. I use MetaMask for, like, I even was pushed to bridge to Polygon and Arbitrum and this, and I just feel like that experience is not user-friendly at all. Like, this stuff is not going to scale to hundreds of millions of users. Like, yes, it's going to work with the crypto natives that are there for the outsized returns because they're early, they're going to go through these painful processes, and then they're going to get rewarded because they were early, right? But for people, that if we're supposed to replace the, let's say, I don't know, it's big words here, but like if we're supposed to replace the banking system, for instance, right? If people are supposed to use stable coins, either on Bitcoin or other chains for transacting day to day, and if they're supposed to get yield on their Bitcoin and other assets and actually put these Bitcoin related assets to work, like, I think that experience has to be much simpler. So ultimately, you just want to onboard into the app, into the wallet, because everybody needs a wallet. If you want to use crypto, whatever crypto chain you want to use, you need to have a wallet. So you do that, you onboard, and then you just want to use that app. So like, I want to use Odin. Do I care that it's on ICP? Do I care it's on somewhere like build because of some? No, I just want to use that app because I want to trade as a degenerate,
No Bitcoiner on earth would have said that 2 years ago, but yet here we are, man.
Yeah,
this is new times, man. Because
the reality
I
just want to use that app. Like, I want to get the stable coin, and I want to get that credit card, and I want to go buy that coffee, right? Like, I care about that ultimate use case.
That's right.
For every single person, the use case is going to be different. There's going to be people that just hold Bitcoin and never do anything with it, and that's fine. But there's going to be other people that are going to use these things and these assets in many different ways. And so for that, we need to find a very easy way to just get them access. And I think that exposing them to bridging in and out between 15 different chains, it's not going to be the solution. We just have to abstract that. We just need to give you a button. Hey, I want to use this app. Okay, maybe underneath I need a different token. Okay, just bridge, send it there. Do I care? Is it on EVM, ICP, Solana, whatever else is going to come back to Bitcoin later on? Like, I don't really think that matters.
I think that's what we all believe on this stage. I think that's why we're here. I know I believe in that. Our company's been doing that since 2016, and it's awesome that Bitcoiners now are in that position where we realize the multi-chain future and that the base layer asset is Bitcoin, and we can all live there is pretty awesome. So thanks, everybody, for being on stage today. Thanks, everybody. I think our time's up.
Thank you.
And appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Adam.
guys.